Hey everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this video. So today I will be reviewing the Kodak Ultramax film stock. I am just a beginner film photographer, so please don't judge my photos too harshly. I know there is a lot of room for improvement there. But with that said, here is my beginner experience shooting the Kodak Ultramax for the very first time. Again, my photos are pretty much unedited except for some minor cropping to give you an idea of exactly what the raw result will be coming straight from the lab. Of course, I used my trusty Minolta X700 to test this film. To be completely honest with you, this roll of film was hanging out in my fridge for a very long time. I never seemed to reach for it because I wasn't as excited about it as the other rolls of film that I had bought previously. Now, I expected to be underwhelmed by this budget film stock, but the opposite is actually true. So when I grabbed this roll, I was actually going to go out into the city center because it was Paris Fashion Week at the time, and I wanted to shoot some fashionable people out and about. But I ended up walking out of my house and walking straight into a protest which was taking place at the moment. I guess that's what I get for not keeping up with the news on a daily basis. So my plans completely changed. I went to go see if I could find some interesting scenes to shoot at this protest. By the way, when the sun went down that day, I also tested the Cinestill 800T film stock. I made a video about it. I will insert it somewhere up here so you can click on it in case you're curious. So the Kodak Ultramax is a 35mm color film stock. It is a staple of the Kodak brand and it features those vibrant colors and warmer tones which are typical of Kodak film. It's slightly pronounced grain and its colors are responsible for this quote-unquote vintage vibe. The Ultramax is a 400 ISO film. It is beginner friendly, which I can confirm, and it will be easier to use than the Kodak Gold, for example, due to its higher speed. You will be more likely to succeed with your photos even if, for example, the lighting is not on your side. So with its 400 ISO, it is likely to outperform the 200 ISO Kodak Gold in lower light situations, for example, dusk, sunrise, sunset. And it will also provide more details in your shadows, which the Kodak Gold at 200 ISO might not necessarily be able to do. So this image didn't turn out good at all. It was way too backlit, but I still wanted to show you how detailed the shadows actually were. With its high speed, it might also be a more handy option to shoot moving subjects as opposed to its slower speed alternatives. Another huge plus for this film stock is going to be its wide availability and its affordable price, especially in the 400 speed category. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Kodak at all. Quite obviously, I just genuinely really enjoyed shooting this film. Oh, and Kodak, if you want to sponsor me, hit me up. Now, given the higher speed of this film, it also brings about coarser grain. So if you're looking for finer grain and still 400 ISO, I recommend you reach for the Kodak Portra, for example. Although some people will argue that the coarser grain is what is responsible for this film's vintage character. This is definitely true, it just really depends on the result that you're looking for. So a great thing about the Kodak Ultramax are its saturated colors and beautiful contrasts, which will lean more towards pastel on cloudier days. Yeah, look at these colors. They're definitely perfectly saturated despite the low light without being too overwhelming either. This film stock has a great exposure latitude. It performs well whether it's overexposed or underexposed. Actually, a lot of photographers choose to shoot this film at 200 ISO instead of its box speed. Therefore, they pull it by one stop in order to reduce contrast and bring out even more detail in the shadows. I didn't do that myself because on the day I was testing it, there was quite a lot of overcast and I decided to shoot it at box speed. Just a side note, despite the great latitude of this film stock, you might want to avoid underexposing it too much. In the opposite direction, you should be just fine. You can definitely shoot this film indoors. You will just still need a reasonable light source, and you will end up with a little more grain and warmer toned highlights. In my amateur opinion, this can still bring about a pretty cinematic feel and vintagey look to it. What might be a turnoff for some photographers is that this film doesn't have a particularly unique or standout character. On the other hand, it is quite true to daily life, so at that point you can probably wipe out your editing magic and see where it takes you. So I was very nicely surprised with the Kodak Ultramax, and that despite the poor light conditions that I had on the day I tried it. The results were very natural and true to reality, so I think moving forward it is going to be a very strong contender, especially if I can expect variable light conditions. Thanks to its versatility, it can shoot outdoors, it can shoot indoors, it can shoot with flash or without, still or moving subjects. What more can you ask for? And it's also a great choice if you don't want to put too much strain on your wallet. I know I don't. I will definitely be trying this film stock out again, especially because I'm super curious about what's going to happen if I push it or pull it, if I overexpose it or underexpose it. So please let me know in the comments if you would like to see the results of that, or let me know if you've tried this yourself and how it went for you. I'm really curious to know. So if you've enjoyed this video or found it useful at all, please let me know by clicking the like button so that I know how I'm doing. And you can also check out my channel for other analog photography related content. And I hope you have an amazing day and a great experience shooting the Kodak Ultramax. Bye bye.